Have you ever been so sure about something, running full speed ahead, only to have a door just slam shut right in your face? Well, today we're going to talk about those exact moments. We're calling them divine detours, and we're going to figure out what they might actually be about.
You know the feeling, right? I mean, you've got the perfect plan laid out. You've made the lists, you've dotted the I's, crossed the T's, everything is ready to go. And then, poof, the whole thing just completely falls apart. It is so frustrating, right? And honestly, it's kind of confusing.
It really feels like a total failure, like running smack into a brick wall you didn't even see. But here's a wild thought. What if that slammed door isn't a rejection? What if it's actually a redirection?
You know, there's this verse in Proverbs that totally reframes this whole experience. It says, "A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps." Basically, we make our plans, we think we know the best route, but ultimately, God is the one directing our journey. And sometimes, his direction looks a whole lot like a detour we never ever planned on taking.
Okay, that's a nice thought, but does this really happen? Is there proof? Oh, for sure. Let's look at some real-life stories that show this whole idea in action, and they're pretty incredible.
So, let's start with this one. Let me share a really powerful real-life story about this. The whole family is over the moon. You're thinking, yes, this is it. This is God's plan. You've prayed, you've prepped. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, the visa gets rejected. Okay, weird. So you try again. Rejected a second time. And then a third time. Can you imagine the frustration? The doubt starts creeping in, right? You're asking, God, did we hear you wrong? But then, out of nowhere, this divine detour happens. An opportunity in Finland pops up, and the visa gets approved like instantly.
Everything just falls into place, and today, he's not just crushing it in his studies, he's growing like crazy in his faith.
And here's the kicker. A little while later, they find out Canada had just made its student rules incredibly strict. That closed door wasn't a punishment at all. It was protection from a massive headache down the road.
All right, next story. And I have a feeling this one might sound a little familiar to some of us. The family vacation is all planned, bags are packed, the kids are literally bouncing off the walls. You are so ready for a break, and then, the day before you leave, someone gets sick, trips off. It's totally ruined, right?
So their plan, the human plan, was this perfect, much-needed break. But God, well, he had a protective plan they couldn't see. A few days later, they see on the news that a severe storm with major flooding hit the exact spot they were supposed to be. What felt like the worst timing was actually God's perfect protection. That slammed door was a shield. Wow. And you see this pattern everywhere once you start looking for it. The job you lose that felt like the end of the world, it opens up an opportunity for a new one with better pay and a work-life balance you could only dream of. That huge business deal that falls through at the very last second, turns out you just dodged partnering with a company about to get hit with a massive financial scandal. Sometimes God's no is just him setting you up for a much better yes.
So, these stories are great in hindsight, aren't they? But how do we deal with this in the moment, when we're the ones staring at that shut door, feeling all the frustration? Let's talk about 3 practical steps that can help us trust the reroute.
It's actually pretty simple, even if it's not always easy. When you hit that wall, the process is this. First, stop and pray. Second, trust that God's got a better plan. And third, choose peace over the pressure to force your own way. Let's break them down real quick.
Okay, step 1, just stop. I know, our instinct is to push harder, right? To find a bigger hammer, to kick that door down. But this verse in James tells us to pause and say, if the Lord will. So instead of fighting, we just ask, Lord, is this you? Are you closing this door for a reason? That one simple question can change everything.
Step 2 is to actively choose to trust that God has a better plan. I love this verse from Jeremiah 29:11. It's a promise that God's thoughts for us are for peace, to give us a future and a hope. A closed door doesn't mean he's mad at you or he's forgotten you. It just means he's writing a better chapter than the one you had in mind. And finally, step 3, we have to choose peace. Trying to force our own plan is so stressful. It's filled with anxiety and all this pressure. But Isaiah promises perfect peace for the person who keeps their mind on God, because they trust him. Honestly, trading our pressure for his peace, that's always a good deal. So, let's bring this all home. We've seen the proof in real life, we've got the practical steps, so what does this all mean for you, right here, right now? What's your next step? I want you to really think about this for a second.
Is there a door in your life, maybe it's a relationship, a career path, some plan you've made, where you are just wearing yourself out trying to pry it open, even though it feels like God has firmly shut it?
Because here's the big takeaway, the thing to remember. Real faith isn't about having the strength to break down locked doors. It's about having the wisdom to stop pushing, turn around, and start looking for the new door that He is opening just for you.
With all that in mind, let's just take a quiet moment to pray about this together. Let's ask God to help us see His plan instead of just clinging to our own.
Dear God, thank you for closing doors out of care, not cruelty. Help us to stop forcing our own plans and to trust your divine redirection. Give us the wisdom to see the new doors you are opening and the peace to walk through them. In Jesus' name, amen.